students, this is our first class of 9th standard. Name of the first chapter is Forces in Fluids. All of you know about what is force. Okay, you studied about force in lower classes. And also what is fluid. Force means it is something which can change the state of rest of a body into motion, motion into rest. It can change the direction of motion of a body. It can change the shape of a body. Okay, so force is needed. Normally, if you want to move a body from one place to another place, force must be applied. Or if you want to stop a moving body, we need to apply force. If you want to change the direction of a moving body, you need to apply force. Suppose you are driving a car. Okay, at a junction, if you want to take right turn, you have to apply force on the steering. Okay, force is applied to change the direction of the car. So force is something which can change the state of rest of a body into motion, motion of a body into rest. It can increase the speed, decrease the speed. When you are driving a car, suppose you want to reduce the speed, you are reaching near to a signal, you will apply brake. So brake is a force which reduces the speed of the car. Suppose you want to overtake another car, you need to increase the speed, you have to apply force on the accelerator. It will increase the force provided by the engine, so the speed of the car increases. Suppose you reach at a junction, from there you want to move towards right side, you apply force on the steering to change the direction of the car. Suppose you want to change the shape of a body. If you want to change the shape of a body, you have to apply force. Force is something which can do all this. Okay? And what is fluid? What is fluid? Fluid is something which can flow. Anything which can flow is called fluid. So generally we can say liquid and gas, these two states of matter is coming under fluid. So there are forces existing inside the fluids also. And what are the forces, and what are the influence of their forces, and what are the applications of their forces, that we are going to discuss in this lesson. There are a lot of applications for the forces in fluids. All of you know about the excavator, usually we call JCB, hydraulic lifts. You might have seen in the car workshop, the car is lifted on a cylinder. The brake system of the car's hydraulic brake system. All these are using the forces in fluids. We'll come to that in details afterwards. Now, first of all, we'll discuss about the basic concepts of forces in fluids. One of the forces which is experienced inside the fluid is buoyancy force. Buoyancy force. All of you write down the heading of the chapter in your notebook. This is chapter 1 in physics. Chapter 1, forces in fluid. And after listening to this video, you must do the activities that I am suggesting at the end of this video. Now, what is buoyancy force? First subheading, all of you write down buoyancy force. It is one of the forces existing inside fluids. We will make this lesson very interesting. We will do a lot of activities. The first activity here, we are going to do this activity first. In this activity, you will understand what is buoyancy force and also what are the factors affecting the buoyancy force. In this experiment, we have a bottle here that is filled with some sand, and it is hanging on a rubber band. This is a rubber band, and because of the weight of the bottle, this rubber band is stretched. If I add more sand to this bottle, its weight will increase. So because of the gravity, it will stretch the rubber band more. After that, what I am going to do, you can see how much it stretches. If I add more sand, it will go more downward because weight increases. Then after that, what I am going to do, I will bring a bottle here, and that bottle I will fill with water. Okay, now we will do this activity. All of you watch the activity with full concentration. See here, when I added more sand to this bottle, its weight increased. So the rubber band also stretched more. Now you can see on the scale the reading. Okay, it is stretched this much. Because of more weight. Now from the bottom, if I apply some force, if I push the bottle upward, okay, its weight will decrease because I am applying a support. If I am giving a support in the opposite direction, its weight will decrease. Okay, so this rubber band is stretching because the sand weight is കൂടുതലായതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ സ്ട്രെച്ചിങ് ഓഫ് ദ ബാൻഡ് ഈസ് ഡയറക്ട്ലി പ്രൊപ്പോർഷണൽ ടു വെയിറ്റ് ആണ്. വെയിറ്റ് കൂടുന്നതിനനുസരിച്ച് സ്ട്രെച്ചിങ് കൂടിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കും. ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ ഇതിന് ഞാൻ അടിയിൽ നിന്നൊരു ഒരു പുഷ് കൊടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അപ്പോൾ വെയിറ്റ് കുറഞ്ഞിട്ട് സ്ട്രെച്ചിങ്, ഈ റബ്ബർ ബാൻഡിൻ്റെ സ്ട്രെച്ചിങ് കുറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കും. Now if I apply force from down, see here, when with my hand I am applying force upward. So what happens here? The rubber band stretches because of the weight of the bottle, and weight is acting downward. And if I apply a force in the upward direction, some weight is cancelled, some weight will get subtracted because of the upward force. Weight is the force exerted by the gravity of the earth, and because of the weight of the sand, the rubber band is stretched downward direction. But if I apply a force opposite to gravity, the upward direction, what will happen? The net weight of the bottle will decrease because I'm giving a support from down in the upward direction. So we can see when the weight of the bottle, net weight of the bottle decrease because of the opposite force acting, so the stretching of the rubber band also will decrease. Same thing will happen if I immerse this bottle inside water, because water will apply a force on this bottle in the upward direction. Not only water, all fluids will apply a force on the objects immersed inside the fluids, and that force always acts in the upward direction. That upward force exerted by a fluid on a body immersed inside that upward force is called upthrust or buoyancy force. See it. Now into this bottle I am pouring some water. Now we can see here when the water fills up, okay, just like I am applying a force upward direction, the water is applying a force in the upward direction. So the bottle lifted up. See, the buoyancy force is pushing the bottle. Now you can see here, when the buoyancy force acting upward, it is exerted by the water on the bottle in the upward direction. The extension of the rubber band also is decreased because the net weight of the bottle is decreased due to an opposite force acting in the upward direction. That force exerted by the water or any fluid on a body immersed inside that fluid, and that force acting in the upward direction, it always acts in the upward direction, that is called buoyant force. Now we'll do another experiment. In this experiment, we are going to find what are the factors affecting the buoyancy force. Okay, what are the factors affecting the buoyancy force? ഈ upward buoyancy force affect ചെയ്യുന്ന factors എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്? അതിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഫാക്ടർ വരുന്നത് the density of the fluid ആണ്. The factors affecting the buoyancy force is density of the fluid. അപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ ഒരു ബോട്ടിൽ പ്യുവർ വാട്ടർ എടുക്കും, മറ്റൊരു ബോട്ടിൽ സോൾട്ടി വാട്ടർ എടുക്കും, സോൾട്ട് സൊല്യൂഷൻ എടുക്കും. ഓക്കെ, എന്നിട്ട് ഈ രണ്ട് സൊല്യൂഷനിലും സെയിം സാൻഡ് ബോട്ടിൽ ഇമേഴ്സ് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം ഏതിലാണ് കൂടുതൽ ബിയോയൻസി ഫോഴ്സ് വരുന്നതെന്ന് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കാം. അടുത്തായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത് രണ്ട് ബീക്കറിൽ, ഒരു ബീക്കറിൽ പ്യുവർ വാട്ടർ എടുക്കും, മറ്റൊരു ബീക്കറിൽ സോൾട്ട് സൊല്യൂഷൻ എടുക്കും. സോൾട്ട് സൊല്യൂഷൻ, അപ്പോൾ സോൾട്ട് സൊല്യൂഷന് നോർമലായിട്ട് ഡെൻസിറ്റി കൂടുതലാണ് പ്യുവർ വാട്ടറിനേക്കാളും. എന്നിട്ട് ഈ രണ്ട് വാട്ടറിലേക്കും നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ സാൻഡ് ബോട്ടിൽ ഇമേഴ്സ് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ ഏത് ഫ്ലൂയിഡിലാണ് കൂടുതൽ ബിയോയൻസി ഫോഴ്സ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് നോക്കാം. ഓക്കെ, സീ ഇറ്റ്. Okay, here we are making a salt solution. Salt is added to water. That salt solution we are pouring into this. Okay, now see here, this is with normal water. This is normal water. Into normal water we immerse the sand bottle. The sand bottle is immersed in normal water here, and here sand bottle is immersed in salty water. Okay, now you see here, in normal water the extension of the rubber band is this much, it is more. Here, that is in salty water, the extension is less. So what happened here? There is more weight acting downward. It means upthrust is less or buoyant force is less. But here the downward weight is less, that is why it is stretching less only. Okay, it is getting more support from down. This bottle is getting more support from down in the upward direction. Means here buoyant force is more. It means if the fluid is having more density, it will apply more upward force, that is more buoyant force. Here normal water is having comparatively less density with respect to the salt water, so normal water will apply less buoyant force in the upward direction. So note down the first point, the factors affecting buoyant force. The first point is it depends on the density of the fluid. If the density of the fluid is less, buoyant force applied by that fluid also will be less. If the density of the fluid is more, buoyant force also will be more. It depends upon the density of the fluid. That is why you may be knowing in Dead Sea, the concentration of the salt is very high. In Dead Sea, everyone can swim. You will not sink. If you don't know how to swim, then also you can swim in Dead Sea, because in Dead Sea no one will sink. In Dead Sea, water is having high concentration of salt, so there will be more buoyant force. When you are jumping into Dead Sea, you will not sink. Because of the more buoyant force applied by the water on your body, you can swim without sinking into it. You see that video here. Okay, so note down. See here, this is the Dead Sea. Here the concentration of salt is 34%. In normal seawater, the concentration of salt is 3 to 4%, but here in Dead Sea, it is 34%. So because of the high concentration of salt, the buoyant force is very much high. So all the people are floating, nobody is sinking into water. Okay, so note down this point. In normal water, it is having less buoyant force, so weight is more. Buoyant force is less, downward weight is more. That is why the rubber band is stretching more. In salt water, buoyant force is more. Because of that, weight is reduced more. In salt water, weight is reduced more because of more upward force, more buoyant force. The extent of the rubber band is less here. Means salt water apply more buoyant force because salt water is denser than normal water. Okay, now we'll see the next factor affecting the buoyant force. Now see here what I am doing. I am folding an aluminium foil into a small square so that its volume is very less. Then if I throw this into water, you can see it will sink into water. But the same aluminium foil, if I fold in the shape of a box with a large volume, then you can see it will not sink. The same material, if its volume is less, it will sink. If volume is more, it will not sink. See that. The same aluminium foil, now I am converting into a box shape. Now you see here, it is not sinking, it is floating. What happened? It shows that volume is also a factor. So why the body is floating right now? Because the downward weight of the body is completely cancelled by the upward buoyant force. Or we can say the weight of the body is balanced by the buoyant force. The gravity or the weight of the body is cancelled. It is cancelled, it is balanced by upward buoyant force. That is why the body is floating. It means when we increase the volume of the body, then we can see buoyant force also will increase. Means buoyant force, the second point, all of you note down the second point. Buoyant force also depends on the volume of the body. If volume is small, buoyant force also will be less. If volume of the body is more, there will be more buoyant force. That is why you can see a huge ship, it is floating, and the ship is made up of iron. It is not sinking because the volume of the ship is very large. Since the volume of the ship is very large, it experiences very high buoyant force. The buoyant force experienced on the ship should be more than the total weight of the entire ship and the people inside and all the goods inside. So what is the total weight of the ship? More than that buoyant force should be experiencing on the ship, otherwise it will sink. When a ship is floating on the surface of water, we can say that the total buoyant force acting on the ship should be greater than the total weight of the ship. That is a condition for flotation. Archimedes principle. All of you know about Archimedes, the famous scientist. And there is a story behind this discovery. You know the story? Syracuse is a place in an island called Sicily. And the king of Syracuse was Heron. Heron once bought a new crown, and the clever goldsmith in the palace, he argued that this crown is not made up of pure gold. there is some impurity added in the gold which is used for making the crown. The king, he liked this crown very much. He don't want to melt it to find out the purity of the gold. Without melting the crown, the king want to know about the purity of the gold. Archimedes was given this challenge to find out the purity of gold without melting the crown. And Archimedes was pondering about it. And one day, while taking a bath, when he got into the bathtub, he observed that the water level lifted. And also he felt inside the bathtub, his weight is decreasing. From that two observations, his weight decreased inside the bathtub and some water overflowed from the bathtub. He got some idea. On getting that idea, in that excitation, he went running fast down the street from his home to the palace, shouting, "Eureka, Eureka!" It means, I have it, I got the idea. He ran fast to the palace without wearing anything. He was naked. This was the story behind Archimedes' principle. The idea he got in that incident, later on it was stated as Archimedes' principle. And this is the Archimedes' principle. It states that when an object is immersed partially or completely in a fluid, the buoyancy force experienced by it will be equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by it. It means if a body is immersed into a fluid, it will experience an upthrust, a buoyant force. That buoyant force will be exactly equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the body. It means if you are immersing a stone into water, what is the volume of the stone? That much water will lift up. So what weight of water is lifted up, or what weight of fluid is lifted up, the same upthrust will be experienced on the body. So the loss of weight of a body inside a fluid, it is equal to buoyant force, and that buoyant force or loss of weight will be exactly equal to weight of the fluid displaced by the body. This is called Archimedes' principle. Okay, now we can prove it experimentally. All of you see this experiment. See this experiment. Here I have taken an empty overflowing jar and I am pouring water into it. Okay, water is taken up to this level, means some water is overflowing. So water is taken till this level. Now I am taking a stone and the weight of the stone is found by using this spring balance. Its weight is 20 gram force. In air it is 20 gram force. Now I am immersing that stone into water. See, its weight is reduced. Now it is only 17 gram force. Means 3 gram force weight is lost inside water. It means it got an upthrust of 3 gram force. And when this stone is immersed into water, some water is displaced and that water is collected in this small beaker. Now we will find the weight of this water. Finding weight of this water that is overflown, we can take a measuring cylinder and this water is taken in this measuring cylinder. It is exactly 3 cc. 3 centimeter cube is the volume of water. You know that density of water is 1 gram per cc. Means 1 centimeter cube of water will have mass of 1 gram. So 3 centimeter cube will have 3 gram. It means what is the weight of water displaced? Same was the loss of weight of the stone inside water. Means what is the loss of weight? Same is the upthrust. Same is the buoyant force. Buoyant force and loss of weight are equal. That is also equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the body. What is the loss of weight or what is the buoyant force? That is exactly equal to weight of the water displaced by the stone. So according to Archimedes' principle, when an object is immersed partially or completely in a fluid, the buoyancy experienced by it will be equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by it. Now we'll see what is the condition of flotation. An aluminum foil folded into small size, you see it will sink into water. Because now the weight is more and the buoyant force is less. Now what I am doing now, I am making this same aluminum foil in the shape of a box with a large volume. Now you can see the aluminum foil is floating. Before the same aluminum foil sink into water. What is the difference? Now the volume is more. If volume is more, when a body is immersed into water, the volume of water lifted up will be equal to the volume of the object immersed inside it. Now when this aluminum foil is having larger volume with more area, okay, it displaces more water. And when the weight of water displaced is equal to weight of the aluminum foil, it will experience same buoyant force. So this buoyant force, right now the buoyant force acting on the aluminum foil in the upward direction and its weight downward, both are equal and opposite. So so it cancels and it floats. So that is the condition for flotation. That is, when the weight of liquid displaced by a body or weight of fluid displaced by a body, if it is equal to weight of the body, it will float. If it is just equal, suppose the weight of the fluid displaced and weight of the body is just equal, it will just float. If the weight of the body is very less compared to the total weight of the water displaced by the body when it is completely immersed, it will float permanently. That is the case of a ship. The total water displaced by the immersed portion of the ship, okay, the immersed portion of the ship, not the entire volume, the immersed volume, the volume of the ship inside water. If you take the volume of ship inside water, okay, and collect that much volume of water and find the weight of that water, it will be exactly equal to the total weight of the ship. The remaining volume is outside. Okay, again, if it goes more inside, upthrust will be more, so it will always experience an upward force, a buoyant force, and that buoyant force balances the weight of the ship. That is why the ship is always floating. Okay, so this is the condition for flotation. The buoyant force should be equal to weight of the displaced fluid. Okay, today we'll conclude the class here. The next class we will discuss more about the applications of Archimedes principle and the concept of density and relative density. Okay, thank you.